Happy New Year, neighbors. This is Representative-elect David Morales, and I hope you've all had the opportunity to safely spend time with loved ones this holiday season. Now, this coming Tuesday on January 5th, the Rhode Island State House of Representatives will begin session. And I think it is incredibly important that within the first 100 days that we resume the legislative session, that both the state Senate and our state House within the General Assembly address the three following policies in order to provide relief to working families and small business owners throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. First and foremost, we need to provide hazard pay to all of our essential workers, from our frontline healthcare workers to every individual who is working at a grocery store right now and keeping us afloat. So hazard pay essentially means 1.5 times the hourly wage a worker would otherwise make. So for example, if there is a worker at a grocery store who makes $12 an hour, with hazard pay, they would be making $18 an hour. And this is especially important for a lot of the big box retailers that we have in our state that employ over 25 employees, and essentially the workers who are there are the ones risking their health each and every single day in order to provide us with essential services. Therefore, it is important that everyone from restaurant workers all the way up to our frontline healthcare workers in the hospitals are receiving the additional monetary compensation which they deserve. Next, we need to provide meaningful and sustainable support and relief to all of our small businesses across the state. Here in the Mount Pleasant neighborhood alone, we've already had 2 small businesses that have had to shut down due to the economic impact of COVID. So it is important that the state develop a more accessible and sustainable grant program that small businesses can apply to and receive monthly funding in order to sustain their expenses and pay their employees. Alongside that, we should also be exploring the option of allowing a rent freeze for small business owners, where instead the state could pay the property rent in lieu of the small business owners throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Next, we have to address housing. And that begins with placing a moratorium on evictions, because no one should be getting evicted during a pandemic. Alongside that, we have to freeze rent and mortgage payments for homeowners. And that can happen if we expand the Safe Harbor Rental Assistance Program that the state already administers, and ensure that we continue to compensate landlords and property owners who would not be receiving rent due to the rent freeze. Instead, they would receive the money from the state as opposed to their tenants. Similarly, we can do this for our homeowners to ensure that they are still making their mortgage payments in a timely manner without having to do it through out-of-pocket expenses due to the economic impact which we have seen COVID have on all of our communities. There are several urgent policies our state must adopt in order to best support our working families, small business owners, and homeowners, from hazard pay to small business assistance, all the way up to a moratorium on evictions. So I hope, come January 5th and on, that within the first 100 days of the legislative session, we could address these urgent issues and provide the relief that our communities deserve. As always, please feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any questions, ideas, or concerns as we prepare for the 2021 legislative session. I look forward to working directly with our neighborhood, advocacy groups, and all the different stakeholders as we pass policies that prioritize the needs of our working people, especially now more than ever as we begin to recover from COVID, as it is important that we do it in an equitable way that prioritizes everyone's public health. Thank you again, everyone, and Happy New Year's.